Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the Torgo Entertainment YouTube channel. Torgo here. Welcome back to another gig vlog, and welcome back to another wedding. So you may be asking yourself, where are you? Well, every time I try to film this thing, it's either been raining, so you can't really hear anything because I have the window in my office, or my neighbors, when it's nice out, have been doing construction on the house next door. They had some sewage pipe issues. So I had to film this where I can. I'm in Geneseo, New York right now. I'm actually at a rest stop off the highway on my way from a venue that I had to visit for Friday's wedding. But today we're talking about the wedding I did last Saturday, and that's the wedding of Jake and Meagan. Jake and Meagan got a hold of me through The Knot. I really rarely book things through The Knot, even though they are the same website essentially as Wedding Wire. Sorry, there's bugs everywhere. And they are self-proclaimed nerds, so we hit it off pretty well. And this is an early wedding. We go back to Greek Peak where we just were in the last video. Here's a map to remind you. Again, it's about an hour and a half to get there. But it's an early wedding. It's 11 to 5, and they were very upfront with the fact that there's going to be very little dancing. So they tried to front load everything with activities. Everything ceremony at 11 o'clock in the morning. They're having a trivia game where they provided 10 questions about themselves for guests to answer in order to try to win the centerpieces. And instead of having dinner, they're having brunch. So it's definitely not your typical wedding. But when it came to the trivia, then they decided, oh, well, you know what? We want the game to be on a television set. Can you do that? And I've never had TVs at weddings before. So I figure, you know, I have the means to do it. Let's try it out. Of course, that ended up being far more rigorous of an undertaking than I had anticipated. Here's some behind the scenes footage as I was trying to set all that up. The TVs weren't really the problem. It was the rigging that was the problem. All right, so I think I'm doing this right. I don't really mess with TVs very often at all. So I have these bars that are affixed to the back of the television. It's a 50-inch Toshiba television. And then, that's from the mounting rack, the fixed TV mounts that I got from Best Buy. Here's the other half of it, which is now attached to this horizontal bar, which will go on the truss. It's not an issue of weight, I'm just really worried about how these two pieces are connected, because it's all hinging on this one point right here. Unfortunately, these little slots are ever so slightly too small for this screw of this C-clamp, or O-clamp, excuse me. But it does fit there. So I had to very carefully put that through, make it so this is locked in like this and not really going anywhere. I'm worried about the potential slippage there. I really am. And then this will latch on to this. And then last minute they decided to tell me, the bride's mom made a 5-minute video compilation. You've seen those before, like slideshow kind of things. Do you have a way that you can play that during cocktail hour? So now we have to try and move televisions between the cocktail hour and the reception. This is gonna be a whole lot of work. Sorry for the quick intro, but there's a lot to do. Let's go. Now this aerial photograph looks a lot like the last gig logs, but it's panned in a little bit tighter because we don't have to go up to Hope Lake for this one. So the reception is in the same place as last time, denoted by the red star. The ceremony, however, is where you go to check into the hotel underneath that awning right there. You've seen this at many hotels before. We're going to denote that with the red triangle. And the cocktail hour, where that other TV is going to have to go for a while, is actually inside the lodge, denoted by this 4-point star. However, the issue was that they wouldn't let us set up anything inside until a half hour before the ceremony started, so we definitely had to scramble to get a lot done, and I don't understand why they allow us to come so early to set everything up, especially with 3 setups, when we're not allowed to really do anything until really close to the ceremony. So this looks a lot like last week, with the main exception being this television off to the side, and we only have one in here because the other one is currently inside. We do have uplighting all around the room. Again, it's quite bright in here, so it's very hard to tell. You can see some of the lights underneath the head table, just like last week. Panning around once again, I guess let's start right here. We have one of these totems, but we are repurposing it by having a 50-inch television mounted to it. That is actually a PowerPoint video right there. I know that ampersand looks terrible based on that font. Like, the letters look really good. We have, you know, the light directly in front of it, the ADJ Element hex bar. Everything looks the same from before. We have the Dragon front board's facade and the Remo pattern right in front. The ADJ CSL 100 speaker stands that light up with some scrim on top of that. I know we have some cords laying around. We gotta film this when we can. The Allendale Defender out back, everything's taped down. My new smaller anti-fatigue mat. We got the power conditioners underneath. We have my Pioneer DDJ SX2 controller inside the coffin. We have my Samsung Odyssey notebook running Virtual DJ 2020. My Shure SLXD microphone in here. My Trivia laptop. This is my old main laptop, and this is going to be running the PowerPoint trivia game. That's why we have all this mess of wires right here, adapters and whatnot. We have the ADJ Power Bar 65. We have the UB12 hex bars lighting up the facade underneath. The place to put my headphones. We have the Airstream DMX bridge, my iPad to control all the lights wirelessly, and here we have the cocktail area. There is the video that Megan's mom made. It's about 5 minutes long, just showing you all this stuff. So this is the bar that we mounted the TV to. We could not get it nicely in here. It wasn't exactly flush to the ground, and I didn't want it to topple over, so we ended up putting the TV on the table. It looks a little silly, and we needed to use that totem for power purposes, so we had to kind of leave it there. There is the Bose S1 Pro speaker running cocktail music, which is back here on this Chromebook, and the battery is chilling back here too, running everything. Again, it's a little sloppy, but we had no time, so we just had to do what we had to do. And going outside here, same double doors, here's the ceremony. That is where they are getting married. We have the two microphones up there. Those are the ULXD microphones, just chilling up there. We are tucked away in the corner because that's where the power is. The other Bose S1 Pro speaker just chilling out back here. Again, the cabling's a little tight. We did clean this up before the ceremony. I just got this in when I could. There is the rack with all the microphones in it for the ULXDs, the X stand, the other Chromebook, the radio 2-to-1 mixer to put all the microphones on the one channel, doing it like we did last week. There's the power. Only one thing left to do. You know what time it is. It is time to level up. Let's go.
Run away. No, my honey. They think they know what we're going through. They don't know nothing. I know it's bad when we look at bad people. Don't live in our house, so I'm gonna get right for you.
Your wedding party. Your first pair, give it up for Jamie and David. Keep it going for Aaron and Christy. Next up we have Sarah and Alejandro. Keep it going for Cassandra and Ryan. Maid of Honor Callie and best man Drew. For your Torgo newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Jake and Meagan Chapin. Give it up for them. They've chosen a song that's very special to the two of them. It's the DuckTales theme. No, it's not. Could you imagine? I can't. I'll play it later, Lee, okay?
I also do want to apologize. When Jake told me I was going to make a toast, I thought I was going to hand you each a beautiful piece of buttered sourdough and we'd all lift it and eat it together, but it apparently, this joke has gone awry.
This is a tradition that is on Jake's side of the family.
Meagan looks real thrilled.
And this has a 14-step dance that goes along with it. And the idea is that Meagan does not know how to do this. Don't act surprised, you told me this was happening. And we're back, or should I say I'm still here. You know, that weren't about as well as could be expected. Oh my goodness, the rain. You haven't lived till you've seen an outdoor ceremony in a thunderstorm. You probably saw Phil and I have to rush up there, grab the microphones, reposition them as the wedding party kinda swooped their way around Jake and Meagan. We had a little bit of dancing, not as much as I thought we were going to, but you know, a decent amount. The main issue with this wedding, the humidity. It was absolutely ridiculous inside that hall because the rain was pretty much non-stop the whole time, and while they had the air on, for that brief little respite from the rain, which was during cocktail hour, a lot of people decided to keep the doors open and all that cold air came out. It was way too hot. I ended up being attacked by insects, so we're on the road now. Now the idea for this wedding was to originally take the one television set and the one piece of truss, have it inside for the cocktail hour, and then move it after the cocktail hour into the reception to be on the other side of the reception setup, so we had two TVs for reception. And that just ended up being not possible. There were way too many people on the sidewalk area in that brief little time where it was nice out. Lee Speary, who was the photographer for this wedding, who have done a ton of stuff before, they were doing a lot of photos out there, so I really didn't want to get in the way of photos just to try and move some big hunkering like metal work, so that was a bad idea. So we ended up just using the one TV inside the reception hall, which ended up being more than enough. I don't think people really noticed it all that much. I tried to draw attention to it, like, hey, if you don't know what I'm asking for the questions, it's up on the screen. But we did get a little bit of dancing. I know that Jake had requested Sandstorm by Darude. I know some of my trivia players would be very interested in that. So we did get that in there. So we had a little bit, but ultimately, yeah, the humidity and the heat proved the biggest enemy for this wedding. And again, there's only so many things you can do. A playlist will be provided at the end of this video as per the norm. You'll see I played some stuff I definitely don't play at weddings normally, some video game music, some unusual soundtrack music. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a double header next weekend, Friday and Saturday weddings. In fact, the Friday wedding is the venue I'm just coming from now. You're not gonna see too much from that one because the couple for the Friday wedding doesn't want me filming anything during the wedding. But I do want to show a little bit of the setup because it involves miking a keyboard, which I don't think I've actually shown on this channel before. So I want to show how that works. But until then, I am Torgo with Torgo Entertainment, and we will see you at the next 2 gigs because I'm going to include both of them in the next gig vlog. Take care.